So let's see what's going on here. The basic rhythm which I play on the bass drum looks like this. So let's first of all see how to count this. We start at 1, then this is 2, this is 2A, then this is on 3, and this is on 4, and then here's the 1 of the next bar, and this is 1, E, and A, so this is 2. Then we have E, and so this is 2A, and here's 3 and 4. So we play on 1, 2, A, and E, 2, A. In terms of dividing this, I think of that as two variations of the same rhythm, and I divide it here. These two are, so we have, first of all, we have this one and we have this one, and they're almost identical except for one little difference. So let's have a look at that. If you think of that as the 16th subdivision, you have this first 16th, and then you have 3 16ths where you don't play. Then you have this dotted 8th, so you have 2 16ths where you don't play. This is dotted again. On the second one, this right here, an 8th and 16th rest, is the same as a dotted 8th. So you have 2 16ths where you don't play, and these are dotted as well. So you also have 2 16ths where you don't play. So the only difference is this. The first one is 3 2 2, and the second one is 2 2 2. So when you play that rhythm on the bass drum and play 8th on the hi-hat and backbeat on the snare, this is what you get. And what I actually play on every other snare, so this one and this one, well, before that, I open the hi-hat and 8th before that and close it on that snare hit. So it actually looks something like that. So these were the first 2 bars, but 3 and 4 is where the actual fun begins. So up until here, this is just a normal groove as in bar 1, the same thing. And now we are on the 2A here. And now what's happening is we play on the 3, E, and A, and on the 4, E, and A. So what's going on here, if we take a look at the interval between these two, this is an 8th note, this is an 8th again, and so on. So we're playing every other 16th, so only on E and A. And instead of coming into this bar on the 1, we come into here on 1 E. So this is also the interval between this one and this one is also an 8th note. And if we take a look at the original bar, we come in 1/16 late. So can you think of that as a 16th displaced backwards? But you'll notice that we sync up at this point in time again, and from here on, it's just our normal groove again. So what is happening here? If we take a look at the interval between these two, this is a quarter note. But here we only have a dotted 8th. So what's going on is, because we are 1/16 late into that new bar here, we make this rest, the interval between these two, 1/16 shorter, and we end up synchronized on 2 again. Now let's take a look at the second part of the song, which in my case consists of a double bass pattern, which itself consists of a group of 4 here, and then we have a group of 4 again. Hi-hat is playing on the quarter, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and snares on the backbeat as usual. What you notice if you take a look at these groups of 4s, this one syncs up with the one. It starts on 1, this one starts on 2, and so you can think of the second group of 4 as the first group of 4 displaced by an 8th note backwards. So if we take a look at these possible permutations that we have, we can take a look at this one where we have our 1 here, E and A. So let's call that 0 because that's not displaced at all. We can displace it by 1/16. So our group of 4 will be here, and we'll be starting on 1E, and our last 16th will be on a 2. So this is 1, this is displaced by 1/16 here. Then we also have 2, we can display it by 2/16, which equals 1/8. So we have 1E and A to E. So we'll start the whole thing on the 1 and we'll end it on 2E. This is displaced by 1/8 notes, or 2/16. And then we have this one, we can displace it by 3/16. So we start at 1E and A. So this is on 1A, then we have 2E and. So we start at 1A and we end the thing at 2 and. This is displaced by 3/16. So coming back here, we can see this is 0, this is 2, this is 0 and 2 again. This is also 0 and 2. These two are the same. I just wrote a dotted 8th here instead of a 16th and an 8th rest. And then here we have 1. This is, so you can think of that as being displaced by a 16th. And then we have 2 again. So what's happening here is we sync up at that point in time. And why is that? Well, we are 1/16th late here. So between these two, this is an 8th. So this is obviously an 8th, the interval between these two, and this here is a dotted 8th. So again, we shave off that 1/16th in order to sync up again here. So now the interesting question is, how can we lead from our nominal bars where we start our groups of 4 on the 1 to this unusual bar where we start our groups of 4 on 1E. And the first thing I came up with was this fill, which starts on the 3. So I only play 3 bass drums here, and I think of this bass drum as the first one of the fill. And then this is just straight 16s going snare, bass, bass, snare, tom, tom, and floor tom. So this will then lead into the bar starting on 1E. So what I do on 1 is I play my stack cymbal, and actually it will then look something like that. We go into that group of 4 starting on 1E. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bass drum. So looking back at the context again, we can see that we are displaced the 16th here, and we sync back up later. So this should remind us of the first part here, where we also are 1/16th displaced and sync up here, and we had this cool little fill where we only played every other 16th, so the E's and A's. And my second approach to that fill was doing exactly that. So here we are. This is 1, 2, 3. So I think of that fill starting at 3, and I already started on 3E, and then only play every other 16th on the bass drum. So I only play the 3E, A, 4, E, and A, and then this is either a hi-hat or a stack, and then I go back into this displaced group of 4. And you notice we have 4 accents here on that fill, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And I tried to orchestrate in the middle, so I came up with snare, tom, 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 going lower on the toms every time. And this is what that sounds like. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that little analysis, and I'll now play the second half of that play along so you can listen to all these concepts again in context, have fun.